Hello guys, welcome to another new video. In this video we're gonna review Canon 650D. So here is how it looks like. I got this second-hand for around $200 along with the kit lens, and which is a really good price for this camera in 2021 because the condition in which I got this camera, it looks like it has hardly ever been used. Now from the front it looks like this. Here is where we insert the SD card slot, and then on this side it does have the microphone input, so you can actually plug in an external microphone to the camera just to get a really good audio. And then you also have the HDMI, mini HDMI, in case you want to connect it to your TV or monitor or any external monitor. And then we have the USB port as well here, and from the back it looks like any standard Canon camera, and from the top as well. But one good thing about this camera like compared to 600D is that it has a dedicated video dial here, so you don't have to move around this dial to go to the video like you have to do in 600D and 550D and all the other Canon cameras like 1200D, 1100D and 1300D. So you basically have to you switch it on. Now it's on the photo mode, and then once you move it to this mode, then it's the video mode. And then depending on whichever mode you have chosen over here, if it is AV then it's aperture priority, and then if it is M then it is like fully manual mode, or S TV is like the shutter priority. So the camera automatically will figure out that setting, and then you can use that setting while you are recording the video. And another good thing about this camera is the flip out screen. Yes, it can be rotated any direction, so it becomes really nice if in case you want to blog yourself, or if you are shooting a video in your house and there is no one else to set the framing for you. And also it is a touch screen, so you can just touch anywhere on the screen to focus, lock the focus, and you can even just touch anywhere on the screen, it will focus over there and also take the photo, which is a really nice feature because we didn't have this feature in Canon 600D. So that is a big advantage compared to that camera. Now let's talk about the technical specification of this camera. So this camera was launched in 2012 in September, so it's almost 9-year-old now, and it's a 18 megapixel sensor, and this features the X-Speed 5 processor, and the ISO capability of this camera is from 100 to 12,800, which can be boosted up to 25,600. And there are like 9 autofocus point on this camera, and all of them are cross type. If you talk about the dynamic range of this camera, it's around 11.2, which is a bit less compared to the predecessor, which was 11.5 in 600D. And if you talk about like the frame per second, it can shoot up to 5 frames per second. In 600D it was 4 frames per second, and in 600D the autofocus point were also 9, but there was only one cross type point for that. And both of them had the microphone jack and also the flip out screen as well, but in that camera it didn't have a touch screen. In this one we do have the touch screen. Besides that, you have full HD video recording, and you can shoot up to like 60 frames per second on this camera, which is really good because on the previous camera you could do it only up till 30 frames per second. And the quality of the video out of the camera is really nice, and for the photography as well, like it features like exposure bracketing as well, which is really useful in case you want to make some HDR video. So now let's talk about like the good things that I like about this camera. At the same time, I would be also posting the photos that I have taken with this camera on the screen, so while I'm talking you can have a look at all the photos that I have taken with this camera. And most of the photos that I took with this camera were not with this 1855mm lens, rather I actually used a 50mm f1.8 prime lens of Nikon, the older one, not the STM one. So it is a slightly noisy lens if you want to use it in video, but if you fix the focus at a point and then just start recording the video, then it won't try to hunt much. But the background blur that you get out of that lens is the same as you get with the newer STM lens, and the image quality are also pretty much similar. And most of the photos that I took like they were Some of them were in the daylight condition, and then towards the evening the light became worse, so I took some photos in the worse lighting situation and some in like quite dark situations as well. And some of them are like nature shots and some are like the portrait shots, so you will get a really fair idea what kind of image you get out of this camera. And I haven't edited anything. All of the photos were shot in JPEG, so they are basically just straight out of the camera, and I use the standard profile for them, so it's not like color enhance or something. Personally, I really like the image quality from this camera because even though this camera is 9-year old, but like in terms of photography specification, even if you like compare it to like the newer Canon cameras, the sensor is pretty good. Like it is as capable to take great photos as like the 80D or like Canon 800D, or in terms of photography I would rate them at par. They are pretty damn good. And the autofocus on this camera is also really good, like compared to 600D, because I have a review video of 600D as well on my channel, and I didn't like the autofocus on that camera. It was a bit sluggish and hunting all the time, but this autofocus on this camera is pretty snappy compared to that camera. Of course, this doesn't feature the dual pixel autofocus when you are in the video mode. It is still the contrast detection autofocus in the video mode, but like it is still better than the one in 600D and 550D, but it is not as good as the one dual pixel autofocus that we have in Canon 200D, 250D, 800D, 70D and 80D, and the mirrorless lineups, and M50 and M6 and those mirrorless cameras. Now talking about like the video capability from this camera, so I'm gonna post some of the videos that I've taken just to test the autofocus and the video quality that we get from this camera on the screen, so you would be able to see them now. Beside that, I have also posted a video of mine like playing guitar, so you can now see like how it's gonna look like in the video. This flower pot on the road in front of me, I'm actually doing a voiceover because the original video I had recorded was in Hindi. So now you can see it's in focus and the background blur looks really awesome from the lens. So you can see right now I have focused on these small berries on the trees, and once they are in focus the background looks really nice, and the overall footage and the video quality looks really awesome out of the camera. There is no editing done whatsoever to this, and it was very windy and this was running here and there, so it was a bit tricky for me to focus on them, because every time I was trying to focus it was moving due to the wind. बाखुदा तुम ही हो हर जगह, तुम ही हो मैं देखूं जहाँ जब उस जगह, तुम ही हो ये जगह. Okay, personally for me I really like the image quality that I got from the video. Yeah, but the autofocus was not that great, so I would advise you rely mostly on manual focus. It would be better actually. You can prefix the focus and then you start recording your video. If you try to rely on continuous autofocus, it's gonna hunt a lot and it becomes really very annoying. So this is not the camera like which you should be using for like professional video work, unless and until you are really good with manual focusing. Then it's not a problem at all, guys. But now coming to the final question, should you get this camera in 2021? I would say it's a great camera for photography. Like it is not like outdated whatsoever. It has like all the features that you need to take great professional photos in a DSLR. Even if you compare it with like the newer and the latest cameras that we have in 2020, the DSLR, not the mirrorless lineup. So you can of course go ahead with it, and also the videos out of this camera and the image quality is pretty good, provided you are good with manual focusing and you don't mind using manual focus. Then you can use it. Even you can use the autofocus, but the thing is that you have to prefix the focus before you start recording the video, and then after that you just basically just start recording the video and the focus will remain fixed and it won't do the hunting kind of thing. And beside that, so who should not get this camera? if you are really very serious about getting very professional videos, and you cannot rely on the autofocus of this camera, rather you would want camera to automatically track yourself. For example, you are sitting on a chair and you are like moving around and up and down, and you want camera to keep you in focus and track you all the time, then this camera is not for you. You should go for those cameras that I have told before, having the dual pixel autofocus. But for $200 if you get this camera with the kit lens in a good condition, this will do all the job that you need and you can ask for. You can make really good full HD videos for YouTube with this camera as well. And of course, in terms of photography, this is not behind any camera. Okay guys, I hope you liked my video, and please do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. I'm gonna bring a lot of nice content for you and keep making such useful videos for you, and I need your support to grow my channel, so please do subscribe and ask your friends to subscribe as well. You can reach out to me on Instagram as well if you have any question about this camera, or you can write a comment here in the video as well. I would always reply to all the comments and the questions that you post me. Okay guys, I will see you in the next video.